Hi, I'm Becky Swarm from Crafters Companion, and these are our latest storage templates from Threaders. This one is your double zip pouch. So this is the pouch that you're going to be making. It's got two zips at the front, a little handle here as well. Then you've got handles at the front and the back here, and then two vinyl pockets at the side. So when you open it up, you've got loads and loads of space in here. This is perfect for travelling with toiletries or storing crafty supplies. So here are all the different components in order to make this particular project. So I've cut these out of my outer fabric and my lining, and I've just laid them all out to show you all the different parts. The first bit we've got over here is the main body. So this is the side and the base. You've got the three pieces cut out of the outer fabric with some wadding adhered to the back, and then you've got the lining pieces and have got some interfacing adhered to the back, and we've done the same with all of those pieces in here. So you can see all the different items you've got here. You've also got your vinyl, so this is your glitter vinyl to create those side pockets. You've got your zip panels, so these are the two pieces of the zip panels here. These are your side points, and you've also got these pieces for your handles as well. The first thing we're going to be doing is our piece of binding. So we've taken our piece of binding fabric and we're going to fold it in half. We're going to press that if you've got a handy iron, and then fold the two edges into that halfway point and then fold it over again, and that's going to hide all those raw edges and create that nice piece of binding. We then want to pop our vinyl pocket inside the binding, so we're just putting that in between those two sections there. So it just might take a little bit of time to get it in the right place. We're going to secure it with some pins, and then we're going to stitch along the edge just to secure it properly. Next, we want to take the outer side panel and we want to baste the vinyl pocket there. So we're just going to put that on top and then stitch around the edge to secure it in place. So it will look something like that. Next thing we're going to do is our little handles. So these work in the same sort of way as the binding, but a little bit thicker. So we're going to fold them in half and then fold those edges into that halfway point again in exactly the same way as the binding. So they fold them over the top, and then we want to stitch down each side, so down the left hand side and down the right hand side using the sewing machine until you get a finished handle that looks like this. Now we want to create the zip panel, and this is the centre zip panel because we've got that curve on the edge. What we want to do is we want to place a piece of the hook and loop tape in the right place. So you can see what that would look like. We just stitched around the outside. You've got one side that is a loop and one side that is a hook. You just need to use opposite pieces for this particular project. So you can see we're just going to stitch that around there in place. So now we want to attach the zip to the actual zip panel. So we want two of these, one at the bottom and one at the top. So we're going to take our middle zip panel and we're going to take our zip. We're going to place that with the zip facing down, and we're going to stitch along here using our zipper foot. So it will look something like this. We're going to do exactly the same with the other side on the top until your item looks like this. So you've got the two zips with the zip panel in the middle and the Velcro at the very end. Then we want to add the other parts of the zip panel to the zips. So we're going to have our outer piece of fabric facing up, our zip facing down, and then our lining piece of fabric facing down. We're going to stitch along here with our zipper foot, and then when it opens up it will look like this. We're going to do exactly the same with the other side. So your top zip panel will look like this. Next, we want to add one of the handles that we've already created. We're just going to pop it on the top of the zip panel. So just find a place where you want to put it, give it a pin, and then you just need to run it through the machine to secure it in place. Now we're going to do the side panels. So these are the little square side panels, and we want to put another little handle on each of these. So we're just going to be using the outer fabric with that wadding on the outside, and then we're using the little handles here, put them in place, and we're just going to stitch along those sides and do the same for each one so they look like this. Next thing we're going to do is start making the body of the bag. So we've got base part, we've got the two side panels, and we've got the two end panels. So we're going to start off adding the side panels to the end panels like so. So we're just going to stitch them all together to create almost like a square, and then we'll attach the base unit to those. So we're just going to line everything up So right sides together and then stitch through with your sewing machine. So you can see now you've got all of those outside pieces put together. We just need to place in the base unit. So we're going to make sure everything matches up on the corners. So it takes a little bit of time just to make sure it's all in the right place, and this is where you want to use plenty of pins or clips to make sure it's all in place. And then once you're ready, it's a question of sewing this all the way around using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you can see now how that looks. So everything is all stitched together. You've got that base unit and the sides and the ends ready to go. And that forms the outside of your pouch. Next thing you're going to do is your lining, and you're going to put your lining together in exactly the same way. So you're going to do those end panels and the side panels first of all, and then the bottom part of the bag. Now what you do need to do is make sure you leave a little bit of a gap, because that's going to be your turning gap, and to turn the whole body of the bag out of itself when you're ready. Now we need to add that little panel with your zip onto your bag. So you can see you've got your bag here, and you want to put in that lining panel in exactly the same way as you did with the base panel. And what you do need to do is make sure that you leave your little zips open so you're able to turn everything out. We just need to make sure that you put your other piece of your hook and loop tape in the correct place. So you can see here I'm just popping that zip panel inside the lining just so I can mark out exactly where I want to put that little piece of tape. And you do want to make sure that you use the opposite piece of hook and loop tape. So if you used hook on one side, you need to use a loop on the other. And then I put the zip panel in the right place. So you put it in a bit like that base panel that you were doing before. So here's one I've stitched in, so you can see how that looks with that zip panel all attached to the actual bag. The next thing you want to do is you want to turn your lining the right way round, so you can see your bag is inside out and your lining is now sort of the right way round with that little gap. And what you want to do is you want to have right sides together. So we're going to pop this lining inside the bag. So that's going to be the lining part and the bag part, the outer bag part, all facing each other. So we're just going to pop that inside here. This takes a little bit of time to get it in exactly the right place. So what you want to do is you want to make sure all of those corners are in the right place, and you've got plenty of pins or clips to make sure it's all in the right sections. So when you come to sew, you're going to be able to sew it really neatly. So I'm just popping that flap for the zip out of the way while I get everything else in, but I'm going to tuck that in underneath the lining in just a moment before I start to sew it. Then once you've sewn all the way around the outside and secured it, you then want to turn the bag inside out and then through that hole in the lining, and then your bag will be completed. So you've got your pouch all completed. You've got all of your pockets, you've got your handles, and you've got your zips at the top as well. So this has been made using the latest storage templates from Threaders by Crafters Companion, and this is your double zip pouch.